All right, y'all, we are back with another video. I definitely had to bring y'all this. Now, before we get into this video, please put rest in peace, Charlie Kirk, in the comment section. Please put prayers for his family, his wife, Erica, and their 2 children. Please put prayers for his family in the comment section below. But I definitely had to bring y'all this because these are the type of things that, you know, made President Trump, made all of us feel uneasy, made a lot of us break down in tears and stuff like that. Especially when you got these liberals that's out here celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. And then, like I said, this right here just really, really pissed off President Trump at the White House. I mean, really, really pissed him off. So now we got the videos of where now liberals are now crying because they just got fired from their job because they was cheering Charlie Kirk's death, and they want to say, well, it's free speech. So you're going to try to say free speech if you up there, you know, wishing more political violence and you happy that Charlie Kirk was murdered and you praising the shooter. Like, I just don't get these people at all. And we're going to keep exposing them. That's what we're going to do. We're going to keep exposing them for the clowns that they are. They are disgusting people who can get on the internet and laugh and make fun of Charlie Kirk and think it ain't going to be any consequences behind it. And it's going to be consequences. That's why you see a lot of college students getting expelled. You see a lot of grown-ups. You see a lot of teachers that's been getting fired. And we about to get ready to go through that. So like I said, make sure y'all please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and shout out to everybody who's been watching the entire video. I appreciate all of you. I told y'all I'm going to keep y'all up to date, you know, as more information comes out. And like I said, man, rest in peace to Charlie Kirk. Rest in peace. So, like I said, we're going to keep exposing these clowns that's coming after Charlie Kirk. And not only that, Ilhan Omar, she's back running her mouth, pretty much celebrating the shooter. Like, these people are idiots, man. She need to go on back to Somalia. That's where she need to go. So, like I said, shout out to the one who always watched the entire video and let me know in the comment section that y'all did stay to the end. I appreciate all of you that do that. It really helps get the videos out there, and I really appreciate it. And without further ado, let's go ahead and dive straight into this. Now, let's start this off with President Trump, you know, when he had the remarks about, you know, the death of Charlie Kirk. And pretty much because it's the Dems who always, you know, was saying so much stuff about Charlie Kirk, the same thing they say about President Trump. So let's check out President Trump right here.
For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now. My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including the organizations that fund it and support it, as well as those who go after our judges, law enforcement.
And like I said, President Trump is not playing. Not only that, Donald Trump Jr. pretty much called out the leftists celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. And he's not playing at all either.
We'll have to stop, but we also have to call out those people who are doing those things. When you see people in powerful positions and teachers and all these things celebrating the death of someone who is one of the kindest individuals I've ever had the honor of knowing, we have to call that out because that's not acceptable. Those people shouldn't be teaching our young children and indoctrinating them and propagandizing them for decades. Yeah. That's perhaps why we have so many frustrated 20-year-old youth running around the country, because they have no purpose. They've been told that, you know, men can't do anything anymore, and they must punish themselves for being born into who they are, and they must become trans to be able to be accepted into a group because that's a unique group with privilege. This crap has to stop, Martha. Yep. And those are the things that Charlie talked about. He did it much nicer than me and much more eloquently, and he could do that with a smile and in casual discourse. And that's why, again, he was so effective at taking so many people who'd had decades, frankly, of indoctrination in our school systems from elementary school and on, and getting them to flip at an unprecedented level. Truly an accomplishment that no one's been able to do. So I think we honor his legacy by doing what he would want, which is for us to stay engaged, to be able to have those conversations, to do so loudly and proudly, to make sure that our voices are heard and that everything he stood for is not forgotten. I think he will do that because there's just so much out there of Charlie doing that so well. I think
absolutely
you have decades worth of material that we can still learn from.
And Donald Trump Jr., he's exactly right. You know, like we shouldn't have teachers out here teaching our kids. And then, like I said, I just showed a video the other day of a student that was recording his teacher because the teacher didn't know the student was recording. And she up there talking about Charlie Kirk deserved what he got. First off, why she even talking about politics in the classroom anyway? She just literally blurted out, oh, I'm glad he got shot. I'm glad he's gone. Just saying all type of stuff. And think about this is coming from teachers. Teachers. So check this out about Chicago. He said, holy mess. Is a add these to the growing list of close to 700 people fired for mocking or celebrating Charlie's assassination. And we're going to get to those people in just a minute that lost their job and now they want to cry and blame MAGA because they got fired. No, blame your actions. Your actions is the one that got you fired.
His administration. If you stay to watch the video, please tag him down below, share, and repost so we can try to get this to him as quickly as possible and hope that he can do something with this. President Trump, as a supporter who voted for you 3 times, I am hoping and praying that you will revisit what Barack Obama and Joe Biden got rid of back in 2013, which is the Smith-Mundt Act, which held news corporations accountable for lying to the American people and spreading propaganda instead of truth. I think instead of bringing it back as a Smith-Mundt Act, you name it the Charlie Kirk Act, you make it a law, and you make it damn near impossible for these people to continue to lie to the American public, which has brought chaos, hatred, division, and anarchy all across this country. Fines out the ass, which will damn near bankrupt their company should they lie to the American people ever again. They can have their opinions, that's fine. They need to state that it is their opinion and that it is not a fact. Because of their constant lies, a man lost his life over it. Because of the constant hateful rhetoric of calling him a fascist and a Nazi and a white supremacist and a bigot, the same thing that they called you, this man is dead. I think this would be a great legacy for him to have a law named after him to force journalists to finally start telling the truth and having the integrity that they have lacked for over a decade. I hope that this gets to you. I hope that you think about it and that you pass it into law. Because we are on a dangerous path right now with the constant lies and the propaganda. And that doesn't end just at news journalists. It needs to go to content creators who consistently spread lies and propaganda and half-truths across the internet. This needs to end. And people need to start being held accountable for baseless claims over absolute abysmal things. It needs to end. So please, if you have it in your heart to have the time to do this, get this in front of Congress, get this passed as a law, and start holding these news corporations, be they right, left, or center, accountable for their behavior. Thank you.
Celebrate Kirk's passing, including Office Depot, which fired a worker for refusing to print a memorial poster. Also, the NFL's Carolina Panthers football team said they fired an employee for a social media post appearing to mock Kirk's death. And then Bengals player nonprofit, the Joe Burrow Foundation, also fired an advisory board member who they say made inappropriate remarks in light of recent events. News Nation's Jorge Ventura live with more. And Jorge, we know the list is growing of more workers being fired from their jobs. What's the latest on this?
Yeah, that's right, Natasha. Those firings are racking up, and many of those social media posts either mocking or celebrating the murder of Charlie Kirk are actually being amplified by conservative influencers or activists with large accounts. Some of these accounts, like Libs of TikTok, have over 4 million followers and are encouraging their audience to contact the employers of those making the posts. And one of those companies facing the online backlash from Kirk supporters is Delta Airlines, the company announcing the suspension and investigation into some of their employees, saying that their social media posts went well beyond healthy, respectful debate and that they were in stark contrast to the company's policies. We've also seen the NASDAQ firing a junior level employee on Friday as well. The NASDAQ also citing zero tolerance policy towards violence and commentary that condones or celebrates the murder of Charlie Kirk. And we are seeing this across the board in different jobs, in sectors. The Guilford Technical Community College in North.
And thinking about this, President Trump said the other day, he said, no matter if it was somebody, on the left, we're not celebrating nobody's death. Like, I wouldn't even do, even when they was talking all that stuff about Joe Biden, what did I say? Where did Benny Johnson, where did other, YouTubers and stuff like that say? No matter how bad of a president we know that Joe Biden is, we'll never wish something happened to that man. We don't do that. We don't wish death on people just because we don't agree with them or we don't like what they did. But the left that's another whole ball game of the crap that they doing.
North Carolina recently announcing that they terminated a part-time instructor for similar reasons, citing that the social media posts did not share the college's respectful and learning working environment. And now Clemson University also under fire. Now we have South Carolina Congressman Thomas Beach calling for cuts to the university's funding at the professors posted celebratory remarks. The hashtag Clemson on X is also trending right now because of it. We have also now seen a new statement from Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy today saying that American airline pilots were grounded and removed because they were caught celebrating the assassination of Charlie Kirk, also saying that the behavior is, quote, disgusting and should be fired, and that their behavior glorifying political violence is completely unacceptable. And this spree of firings have even gone local to employees at law firms and restaurants. But we're seeing this massive campaign right now, especially on X and Tasha, of these huge accounts with millions of followers encouraging their audiences to contact the.
And you see exactly what's going on. So at the point, then even look at this. Cleveland fire chief removed from duty over incinerated Charlie Kirk's social media. Think about this. A Cleveland fire chief is pretty much mocking and pretty much saying he happy that, it's pretty much saying that Charlie Kirk deserved what he got. A chief. Like I said, this right here is just insane. And even Fox News, said this.
Now, I do like to think that most people in America expressed horror at this murder, and I think that's exactly right. But this small group that is going online and saying what they're saying is just, who could do that? Why? Who celebrates murder? I don't care, left, right, center, non-political, it doesn't matter. No one with a soul should celebrate murder anytime, anywhere, for anybody. To think that they will go out and promote it like that. So if they're getting fired, that's up to their employer. I never recommend anybody to fire anybody. That's between an employer and an employee. And maybe they were just one isolated incident, but they're getting what they deserve.
Exactly. So as we get right here, you can see this guy right here pretty much, trying to say, oh, thanks, MAGA, y'all got me fired. But yet, no, you got your own self fired for being so stupid. So it's a liberal man says that MAGA got him fired from his job for celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. Listen to this clown.
Well, I just want to say thanks a lot, MAGA. You guys did get me fired from my job.
No, your actions got you fired from your job. MAGA didn't get you fired. Your actions, your mouth got you fired from your job. Don't blame MAGA for what you said. MAGA didn't make you say what you said.
Well, I just want to say thanks a lot, MAGA. You guys did get me fired from my job. I was an engineer.
Who cares?
12 years. So for the first time in 12 years, I have to get back into the job field. So much for freedom of speech, huh, guys? Crazy, unbelievable.
Oh, see that? See, now they want to use free speech. They hate you for Charlie Kirk and wishing and pretty much celebrating he did. They want to use that for free speech. This is insane. And like I said, this is how these people thinking now. So you see here say in this video, 4 people were fired from their jobs for celebrating what happened to Charlie Kirk.
I was just fired from my job.
So I've lost my job. I got called into the office yesterday and told me that they could either fire me or I could put a resignation in, but that would look better. But they fired me, or they're getting rid of me because of my TikTok. Somebody screenshotted screenshot a lot of my TikToks, and
I made some stupid comments about Charlie Kirk on the day that he was shot. I said some things on Blue Sky and on Threads that I'm sorry, not sorry for, but I said them.
Wow.
And I deleted them when it was requested that I do so.
You shouldn't have said it in the first place. He said, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. So obviously you really ain't sorry. You just a sorry mother.
By my employer. And then today, on a weekend, I'm told that I am no longer employed at Microsoft. After 6 years.
That's your fault. You should have kept your mouth shut.
Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Department from scratch. I lose my job because one of you, some random person, reports my posts to my employer, goes out of their way to find out where I work, and takes my job, takes my security away from me for a thought.
And he want us to feel sorry for him, but yet he's sitting up here celebrating Charlie Kirk being murdered. Now he want to blame people, but yet you post the video online for people to see. If you did that, you should have kept it to yourself. But yet, no, you didn't. You posted it online, which means other people can have an opinion of it. They don't like it, of course they're going to report it. That's how it works. And now he want us to feel sorry, but yet this the same clown that celebrated Charlie Kirk being assassinated. Like, these liberals are stupid, man.
For an opinion, and you talk about freedom of speech like you care about it, and you're just going to take my money, my life, my food off my plate because I don't like Charlie Kirk?
It ain't got nothing to do with you not liking Charlie Kirk. This is a free word. You don't have to like everybody. It's the stuff that you said. You're up here celebrating. You're up here mocking what happened to him. That's where the problem come in. You can not like somebody. Everybody ain't gonna like everybody. That don't mean you gotta, just because you don't like somebody, you gotta take them out because you don't like them. You're up here celebrating. You're up here laughing. You're goofing off, and now that you lost your job, you want to sit up here and cry and think we feel sorry. We don't feel sorry for you at all. Not at all. Those are crocodile tears.
That's not okay. It is not okay to target me because I felt joy that day. I can't help how I feel.
You felt joy?
I felt joy.
He said he felt joy of what happened to Charlie Kirk. He felt joy.
That's me. That's what I believe. That's what I think of him. I can't help that. So I don't deserve a job?
No. Like I said, this right here is just, it's just insane. So if you see it right here, this is what Jesse Waters says. If you are one of those happy about Charlie Kirk's death, listen up. Check this out.
Right. It's not illegal to say Charlie deserved to die and you're glad he did. They have a right to say that, but we have a right to fire you. You can't walk into the office and say you're into homicide. You can't work at CNN and tweet, I'm comfortable with cold-blooded murder. More people need to be killed.
You can't say that.
Speech is free, but you're not free from the consequences. If you're glad Charlie's dead and thought he had it coming, I'm supposed to sit next to you in the break room? You're going to teach my kid at school or serve in government? And I'm supposed to just say, free speech. You're advertising that you're a maniac and that you have no decency, compassion, or humanity. That you're indifferent to death. And not just indifferent, you're sickly gleeful. That makes you a threat. That makes you dangerous. It makes you a beast.
Yep.
And what do we do with beasts? We leave them out in the wild. We have to be very careful about the kind of people we associate with. They aren't entitled to work for us. And these people, sadly, are everywhere. This is more than just a disagreement over the border or crime or politics. We're talking about murder. Would CNN be okay if their producer said, that girl that got, she had it coming? Of course not. Or the Ukrainian refugee death on a train, Irina, deserve to die. Those floods in Texas, that's karma. Hope you can swim. Never.
You can't say stuff like that.
And we're not saying these people should be put in prison.
Now, Jesse Waters is exactly right. Yes, you got free speech, but it is consequences behind that free speech. You can't just say anything and think that you can't be fired. So Jesse Waters is exactly right with what he's saying.
We're saying they're not walking into my office. I'm not letting them hang around my family. I don't want to be anywhere near them.
And like I said, he's exactly right. And like I said, I showed y'all this earlier about this Cleveland fire chief, getting fired for what he said. The same thing with this young lady right here who just got fired. Another, she got fired at a AAA. It said, keep this going until they all understand that freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom for consequences.
Yes, take care. Good luck, okay?
So yeah, she got fired right here too.
You guys have a good forms and shit and terminating me.
Yeah, so now they crying because they getting terminated. So, and like what this guy right here said, it says someone with common sense, hallelujah. Check out what this guy just said.
Hey, Dr. Alessandro here, and I've been seeing lots of news stories about people who have been getting fired for making celebratory statements about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. So here's what I gotta say about this. If you were fired for celebrating publicly online or condoning the gruesome assassination or justifying the gruesome assassination of Charlie Kirk, then you fully deserve to be fired. And especially if you're in healthcare. If you're in healthcare where we're trying to heal people, get people back to proper level of health and make people better. If you're celebrating somebody's gruesome assassination, or worse yet, beyond that, which is already awful enough, you're celebrating it and then you're also insulting the widow and the children, which I've seen, then you have absolutely no place in healthcare. You would not have any place in my practice. I'll tell you that right away. So if you were fired, well deserved. And beyond that, now you can use that time to make yourself a better person, because quite frankly, if you're celebrating anything like that, there's a serious problem within your soul.
And he's exactly right. Same way with this right here. Think about it. Breaking news. Marine Jacoby Williamson fired after celebrating Charlie Kirk's death by posting another R-man popped. I don't know why they keep on saying that Charlie Kirk was racist when he's not. He was never racist. I don't know where they get this stuff from, but you could tell it come from them just listening to CNN, MSNBC, and all of them. And this right here say lefty TikToker Charlotte Hayes made a post calling for more violence after the death of Charlie Kirk. The owner of the premises has shut down her business and removed her from the premises. This is what mess around and find out looks like. In one voice, we have spoken. We will no longer tolerate this intolerant left. And now she's crying and all that and think somebody's supposed to feel sorry. Same way with this woman right here. Liberal woman say that she has filed for unemployment after getting fired for celebrating Charlie Kirk assassination.
Yes, I have filed for unemployment. And yes, you can't just fire somebody, because when they give a reason to unemployment that it was for political purposes, the company looks stupid. That's not a good reason to fire somebody.
Oh, it's not a good reason to fire somebody. See, and another thing with these liberals, now you see what they're doing. They keep trying to tie in free speech, but they got to realize that ain't got nothing to do with your employer. Your employer can fire you if they want to. They might not want a person like you at their job celebrating somebody being assassinated. They don't need you there. They don't want you. They don't even want to be around you. Look at the type of person you is, like celebrating that somebody was assassinated just because you disagree with him, not because he did something to you, because you disagree with him. So, like I said, all of these people, exactly deserve, what they got. And so, like I said right here, say CNN Brian Steffer on people being fired for celebrating Charlie Kirk murder. He said most of these people are not public figures. They were anonymous until a few days ago when this conservative campaign organized online targeting people that is saying are attacking Kirk. Given how tense the climate is, I think we're going to see more of these politically motivated firings. And like I said, I agree. People need to be fired. They really do. But let's check them out.
Brian, Delta Airlines, American Airlines, United, they have said that they've suspended workers for some of their social media posts about Kirk's killing. We've seen reports of teachers and college professors being suspended for posts after he was shot. Washington Post opinion columnist Karen Attias, she said that this morning she's been fired for her posts about political violence. What do you see in this clampdown in response?
Yeah, and some of Karen's posts about political violence were trying to point out that there's a long history in America of political violence. She says that her posts were called unacceptable by management and she was fired. So that's an example of the Washington Post. And at this point, there are hundreds of examples of people being fired from their jobs. Most of these people are not public figures. They were anonymous until a few days ago when this conservative campaign organized online targeting people that it says are attacking Kirk, bashing Kirk, blaming Kirk for his own death. I want to point out that the range of offending posts has varied dramatically. There are some people in the dark corners of the internet celebrating Kirk's murder, and I find that personally grotesque. You also have people out there who are performatively showing a lack of sympathy, saying, I'm not going to mourn for him. People, for example, sharing controversial comments from Kirk's past and saying, look what he was saying. He's part of the problem in America.
Wow.
So you have this now coordinated conservative campaign to try to get people fired for a wide range of opinions. And look, this is a new form of cancel culture. You know, something that the right complained about when, they were saying the left was targeting people 4, 5, 6 years ago. The truth is, cancel culture never goes away. It just changes shape. And the free speech group FIRE said it really well over the weekend. They said, we should remember, we don't win an argument just by ruining someone's life. All we do is ruin someone's life. And that is some of what's happening now as people get fired for these comments. But we should recognize, as we talk about free speech here, if you have a relationship with a private employer, that employer can choose to fire you for a variety of reasons. It gets a little more complicated if you work for a school or a university. But these private employer relationships are what they are. And it has started a new front in a debate about what is appropriate, what is not appropriate in the wake of a national trauma like this. And that is what we're going through, Kate, a national trauma. No, we're nowhere close to civil war. People should knock it off with that talk. Most Americans are going about their daily lives, not wanting revenge or retaliation or any of that. But given how tense the climate is, I think we are going to see more of these politically motivated firings and campaigns going forward.
I think we're going to see it's going to be more firings. So like I said, these people just, sitting on here, celebrating what happened to Charlie Kirk. And like I said before, I just found it to be disgusting. And then it just get worse. It just get worse. A leftist woman gets fired from Western Governors University for celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder. And she thinks what she did was right.
I just got out of an impromptu meeting with the vice president of Western Governors University, scheduled on my calendar 10 minutes after I arrived back from my midday break. No one else was scheduled on the meeting, besides Casey Clark, the vice president of Western Governors University. But then the HR representative showed up first, and we both sat there, and knowing that she's worked at the university for about a month. And then he showed up, and I said, it would have been great if we met each other under different circumstances, Casey. And he said, yeah, I'm going to fire you, basically. And he said that even though Ohio is a one-party consent state, and I only showed the part of the conversation where I spoke during the prior meeting, that breached the policy for the university, which, if you ask me, sounds like illegal retaliation for calling out the president, Scott D. Pulsifer, for neo-Nazi sympathizing with Charlie Kirk. But I would love a pro bono lawyer to verify whether or not that's correct. And then he said, I celebrated Charlie Kirk's death. If me calling out who Charlie Kirk was, which was someone with neo-Nazi beliefs and statements, is celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, then so be it. Because that's who the he was. He was a neo-Nazi. And any organization that would fire me for calling a neo-Nazi is not an organization I want to work at. Now all WGU students, faculty, and staff will know that the president and vice president are both neo-Nazi sympathizers.
This is just insane, and this is the way that these people think. This is the way they think. Now, check this one out. This is another woman who's crying on camera. Check it out.
That sent that video to corporate and got me fired. Thank you. And I know that everybody is going to see this video too, and that's okay. I'm not going to say anything wrong. Did I realize that what I was saying in that video was going to lead to this? No, I would have never done that.
But you did. So, like I said, man, it is just terrible, like the way these people think. And that's why I said we're going to expose them all one by one. We're going to expose them all. Now, this is Megyn Kelly, you know, pretty much, you know, paying tribute, you know, to Charlie Kirk right here.
You need look no further than Erica in order to see that he was real. Like her goodness, her love, their love story, her strength in the wake of his death. That's the woman he loved, and that's a woman who loved him. Why? Because he was some devil figure? The opposite. These two were as wholesome as you could find. And everything he said was from his love of humanity and his belief that they could do better. I mean, I am much more like, no, they can't. Let's move on without them. Like, we've got to, you know. And Charlie, I mean, in all of these college campus exchanges, whenever talking about most people, he would feel like everyone could be redeemed. And if he could just get to them, if he could just talk to them, if he could just buoy them up with hope, they would do better. They could see themselves as Charlie saw them, as God sees them. And I just ran into that optimism and that positivity from Charlie so often that I really did see him as God's messenger, Tucker, as an angel sent to us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, we didn't deserve him. I feel like he's gone now because we didn't deserve him.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's just sad. Just a sad situation. This right here was another kid that just got expelled because he was on, you know, at college making fun of Charlie Kirk. Look at him. This is what these people doing on the left. This is what they doing. Just sad. So it's just a sad thing. And like I said, you got students that's, you know, pretty much telling their teacher that, you know, that they need to lose their job. So man, just freaking sad. But like I said, y'all get in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think about all this. Thank you all for watching. Like I said, I will keep y'all up to date as more information comes out. And like I said, put rest in peace to Charlie Kirk. Prayers for his family, his wife, his kids. Make sure you put that down below in the comment section as well. And I'll catch y'all in the next one.